Hi students, and welcome to our lesson about keywords and phrases that we use translating things to algebra. So let's get started and get this page lined up for you. So some keywords and phrases when we're working with addition in algebra are sum, total, plus, increased by, and more than. And I'm sure you can think of some others. Now, when we subtract, some of the words you're likely to see are difference, minus, decreased by, less than, and subtracted from. And I want you to be very careful with these because we call these turnaround phrases, and you'll see how they show up when we do our math. So now let's talk about multiplication and division. First, multiplication. Some of the terms that we see are times, product, and product is the answer we get when we multiply. We also see in word problems the word of. We might see twice or triple something, double, 3 times. And when we divide, of course, we have the answer when we divide, which is the quotient. We say we want sometimes things in separate groups. We can say, of course, divided by. Or we can cut something in half or thirds. Now, a couple of things I want you to be careful about. Sometimes we need to put quantities together using grouping symbols. So when we do that, we have parentheses or other grouping symbols that we use. We might see in a word problem times the sum of, or we might see times the difference of. Sometimes you'll see the word between. So look out for those words. And then, of course, this is vitally important. You see this a lot. We see these turnaround phrases, and we'll see, in that case, the words less than, and we'll see how that works when we do some problems together, and subtracted from. So let's take a look at some of these now and work on them. So we have some examples. I'll do a few and then I'll give you some time to do some on your own. So we're asked to translate each expression or equation. Number 1 says the product of a number and 3. We're using the variable n today for a number. So if we have the product we're multiplying, in algebra that is simply 3n. When we have the quotient of a number and negative 5, that's a fraction and we're dividing. And notice the word of there. In number 5, we have the sum of twice a number and 7. So we have to think about that twice a number and 7. That would be 2n plus 7. Here's one of our turnaround phrases in number 4. 4 subtracted from a number. The number is first. It's n minus 4. That's what I was talking about when I said a turnaround phrase. So work on numbers 2, 6, 7, and 8, and then come back to the video. So pause for a minute. Okay, students, I hope you've been working. So let's look at some more of these. Let's finish those ones that we didn't get to finish. So number 2, the difference between a number and 10. Look how that word between is used. What we're really talking about is subtracting. So it's between a number, so the n is first, n minus 10. And when we say the product, we're multiplying of a number and 10, this is not addition. Here's our addition, increased by 1. So this is 10n plus 1. When we say, let's bring the page up a little, for less than a number squared, the number is squared, the n is squared, and then we take 4 away. That's our difference. Again, a turnaround phrase here. Be very careful with these. Twice a number divided by 5 is 2n simply divided by 5. So we've got some equations here. Remember the difference between an expression and an equation? We look for that equal sign. So let's look at some of these equations. And we have, I'll do the ones on the left and I'll let you try the ones on the right by yourself. The sum of twice a number and 10 is 36. So twice a number, that's together as a group. 2n plus 10 is always our equal sign, is 36. 4 times a number divided by 8 is 3. So there's our is 3. So we've got 4 times a number, and that is all divided by 8. 1/2 of a number is 8 less than the number itself. Is 8 less than the number itself. That's a turnaround phrase, so that's n minus 8. 1/2 of a number is simply 1/2 n. So we have 1/2 n equals n minus 8. And number 15 says 15 decreased by the quotient, which is the answer we get when we divide, of a number and 3 is 20. Okay, so 15 decreased by is 15 minus, and then the quotient of a number and 3, that is grouped together, that's a fraction, is 20. So try number 10, 12, 14, and 16 on your own. Okay, let's get back to work here and see how you did. Twice a number divided by 5. Whoops, we did that one. Sorry, number 10, my bad. Okay, number 10, 3 times the difference of a number and 7 is 18. So the difference of a number and 7 will be in parentheses. 3 times a number and 7, that's our turnaround phrase, is 18. And you would need to distribute that 3 through the quantity of n minus 7 in order to solve that problem. 5 times the sum of a number and 6. So we have the sum of a number and 6, that's a quantity that will go in parentheses, is 48. So 5 times the sum of a number and 6 is 48. The product of a number and 3 is the same as the Look at that. Is the same as. That's just is. That's just our equal sign. The sum of that number and 6. So we've got the number on both sides of the equation. So first we have the product of a number and 3, which is 3n, equals the sum of that number and 6, equals n plus 6. For less than the product of a number and 7 is 8 more than that number. So let's see, is 8 plus the number. So 4 less than the product of the number and 7. So 7n goes together. That's one term. Minus 4 equals 8 plus n. How did you do? So we also can translate the language we're used to speaking and talking into inequalities in algebra, and we use specific symbols to do that. You probably know them already. Less than or equal to, greater than or equal to. So let's use those symbols to solve some of these. I'll do 17, 19, 21, 23, and 25, and let's see if you can try the rest on your own. Or if you want to pause the video now and challenge yourself a little bit and try them all on your own. I think it's a really good exercise. So number 17, a number is less than negative 10. So we're still using n. A number is less than negative 10. A number is greater than or equal to negative 4. A number is greater than or equal to negative 4. Now we've got some real world problem here. A speed limit of 55. That means that you can't go over 55. So n must be less than or equal to 55. A number no less than 10. So the number cannot be less than 10. Can it be 10? Yes. 10 must be greater than or equal to 10. Number n must be greater than or equal to 10. Now we have a maximum of 25. So can the number be 25? Yes. Can it be more than 25? No. So n must be less than or equal to 25. So pause the video and try to do the right side on your own. Okay, so here we are. We're going to try 18, 20, 22, 24, and 26. It says a number is less than or equal to 8. So n must be less than or equal to 8. Number 20, a number is at most 45. Can it be 45? Yes. So n must be less than or equal to 45. Number 22, a number is at least 16. It can be 16, but it can't be less than 16. It must be 16 or greater. So n is greater than or equal to 16. Number 24, a number is no more than 26. It can be 26, but no more. So n is less than or equal to 26. And number 26, a minimum number of 5. So n must be greater than or equal to 5. So let's move on. That will be your homework for later, but I made an exit ticket for you out of this document here. We're going to translate the following expressions, equations, and inequalities. So let's see if you can try them on your own, and then come on back to the video and let's see how you did. Okay, so let's see how we did. Number 1 says the product of a number and 7, so that would be my 7n. Number 2, 9 subtracted from a number, that's a turnaround phrase. So from twice a number, excuse me. So that would be 2n minus 9. Number 3, 1 less than the quotient of a number and negative 5. Remember, these are not equations. These first 3 are expressions. So we have the quotient of a number and -5, and then we've got one less. So that's it. Now it looks like we have some equations for the next set. So 3 times the sum of a number and 10 is 24. So we have the sum of the number and 10 will be our quantity. So 3 times the sum of the number plus 10 is 24. Number 5. The difference of twice a number and 3 is -21. What's really tricky about this one is this is really subtraction, but it says twice a number and 3. That's a gotcha. So don't be distracted by that. So the difference of twice a number and 3, here's our twice a number, minus 3 is -21. Number 6. 1/3 of a number increased by 8 is 37. So 1/3 of a number increased by 8 is 37. X is at most 6. So these are not equations, it's an inequality. So X must be less than or equal to 6. You must be at least 18 years old to vote. So X must be greater than or equal to 18. So if you had a little trouble with those, go back, rethink them, try to write a couple of your own. That sometimes helps you. And do your homework right away before you forget any of this. And I think with a little bit of practice, you'll be great. Have a wonderful day.